Welcome, beloved. I'm so glad you're here. If this video has found you today, it's not by accident. The angels have a message for you, something that has been quietly resting on your soulmate's heart, something they worry about but can't express out loud. Today, we're going to bring those hidden thoughts into the light, not to stir fear, but to bring understanding, healing, and a divine reassurance that love, real love, is being divinely guided and protected on your behalf. Before we go any deeper, I want to welcome all our new viewers to Prophetic Message, a space where we receive divine guidance, prophetic insights, and angelic truths that help us understand what God is doing behind the scenes in our lives. If this is your first time here, I invite you to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss a divine update meant just for you. Now, for everyone watching, if your heart is open to receive today's message, I want you to comment below right now, I believe or I receive. These aren't just comments, they are declarations of faith. And when you move in faith, heaven moves with you. Now take a deep breath. Quiet your heart, because what your soulmate secretly worries about isn't just something they casually think about. It's something they pray about. It's something they keep hidden, hoping that God will take care of it. And now that worry has reached heaven, and the angels are bringing the message to you. You may not have met this person yet, or maybe you have, but the connection hasn't fully blossomed. But one thing is certain, this person, the one God has chosen for you, has been deeply thinking about you, praying for you, wondering if you'll understand the depths of their heart when the time comes. And one of their greatest silent worries is this: they worry if you'll truly see them, not just for who they appear to be, but for who they really are. In a world that often celebrates surface-level beauty and curated perfection, your soulmate is someone who longs to be known for their inner world, the part of them that's tender, spiritual, wounded, and healing. They wonder, will they still love me if they knew what I've been through? If they knew where I've failed? If they saw my weakest moments? The angels say that this concern is rooted not in pride, but in past pain. Your soulmate may have been overlooked before, chosen last, or misunderstood. And now, even though they're preparing themselves for you, growing, learning, healing, they still wonder if there'll be enough for you. Let's be honest, sometimes we all worry about that, don't we? Will someone truly love the version of us that isn't always strong, always confident, always perfect? But here's what the Lord says in 1 Samuel 16:7. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And beloved, your soulmate has a heart that is searching for God, longing for love, and trying to do what's right, even when it's hard. But they wonder, will you still choose them if you see their scars? The angels say this person has carried shame, quiet shame. Maybe it was a mistake they made years ago. Maybe it was a time they felt spiritually lost. Maybe it was a season where they weren't proud of their choices. And even now, though they've grown, though they've repented, they still wrestle with this fear. What if the person I love the most sees me through the lens of my past instead of the promise God placed on my future? But here's the truth. In Isaiah 43:19, God says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" God is not holding their past against them, and neither should you, because the version of this person that's being sent to you is not the version that once wandered. It's the version that has been reshaped, refined, and revived through the fire. They worry, will you be patient with their process? Sometimes your soulmate is afraid that the world's fast-paced expectations will make it hard for them to keep up. Maybe they're still building financially. Maybe they're still figuring out their spiritual calling. They worry, will you wait for me while I step into what God has for me? Or will you expect me to have it all together from day one? In Ecclesiastes 3:1, we're reminded, to everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. Love sent by God honors the season, not just the destination. Your soulmate is someone who may not be the finished product, but they are God's work in progress. They want to build something real with you, something that lasts, not a fast romance, but a foundation laid in prayer, communication, and truth. They've seen how the world does relationships, quick thrills, shallow talks, no commitment. And they worry, will you expect them to perform like the world, or will you partner with them to walk like Christ? Matthew 6:33 says, But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Your soulmate is seeking the kingdom, and they are hoping, praying that you are too. Another quiet concern they carry? They wonder if you'll still love them when life gets quiet, when the excitement of the new fades, when routine kicks in, when real life happens. They worry if your love will endure, or if you're only in love with the idea of them. The angels say this isn't fear. They're not afraid of you. They just desire something deeper. They don't want a love that comes only in good times. They are praying for a love that stays, and this is where God reminds us in 1 Corinthians 13:7. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. They are ready to endure. But they're hoping you are too. Now, here's something beautiful. Your soulmate is not perfect, but they are praying for you. Right now, somewhere in this world, your person is whispering your name before God, even if they haven't met you yet. Even if they don't know what you look like. They're saying, God, prepare their heart, give them peace, help them understand that I may not have it all, but I will love them with all I have. That kind of prayer comes from someone who truly cares. And yet, with all that love inside of them, they still silently worry. What if I'm too late? What if they give up waiting before I arrive? But beloved, God's timing is always perfect. The divine blueprint is unfolding exactly as it should. In Habakkuk 2:3 it says, though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. You will not miss each other. The meeting has been scheduled in heaven, and nothing will block what God has ordained. Still, your soulmate hopes that while you wait, you'll protect your heart. That you won't settle for a counterfeit version of love while the real one is being prepared. They worry that someone will charm their way into your heart with empty promises, and by the time they arrive, you'll be guarded, skeptical, or unavailable. But God is not the author of confusion. He will give you clarity. He will confirm with signs. He will protect what's meant for you, if you trust him. In Proverbs 4:23, the word says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Your soulmate wants your heart to be protected, not just for you, but for what you're going to build together. So if you're listening right now, I want to ask you something personal. Have you been growing weary in waiting? Have you wondered if your person is even thinking about you at all? Let this message be your divine confirmation. Yes, they are. They're not just thinking about you, they're praying for you. They are dreaming of a life where love is God-centered, where conversations are deep, where silence is peaceful and not awkward, where arguments end in prayer and not pride. That kind of love may sound rare in this world, but it is real. And it's looking for you. God is preparing someone who will hold your hand during the storms and rejoice with you on the mountaintops. But even this person, this anointed one, has fears, and it's beautiful, because their fears show they care, their worries reveal their heart, and their prayers are reaching heaven on your behalf. Proverbs 18:12 reminds us, before a downfall the heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. Your soulmate's worry is not rooted in pride, but in humility. They are asking God, make me worthy of the person I'm praying for. They've seen you in the spirit. Yes, even before meeting you face to face, your soulmate has already seen glimpses of you in prayer, in dreams, in flashes of intuition. And while they may not have the full picture yet, they've felt your presence enough to start caring for your soul. That care has turned into concern, not because something is wrong, but because they are deeply invested in who you're becoming and what you're carrying. You see, angels say your soulmate worries about how you truly see yourself. They worry that you sometimes forget how valuable you are. They've sensed, even from afar, that you may have gone through seasons that tried to dim your worth, relationships that made you question if you're lovable, words spoken over you that tried to reduce your light, times where you had to shrink just to keep peace with others who were uncomfortable with your greatness. Your soulmate doesn't just want to love you. They want to remind you who you are, but their worry is this: will you believe them when they affirm you? Or will you brush it off because of the lies others once made you believe? That's why they pray. That's why they ask God to do the healing first. They want you to be whole, not just for them, but for your own sake. Psalm 139:14 says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. Beloved, you were made in the image of God. Heaven crafted you with divine care. Your soulmate knows that, and they pray that you will know that too, before they even show up in your life. The angels are revealing something deeply intimate. Your soulmate has seen patterns in their past that made them doubt themselves, and they don't want to bring those patterns into your story. They've loved people before who didn't know how to receive love. They've poured out their heart into vessels that couldn't hold it. And so now they worry quietly, will my love be received fully this time? Or will I be giving more than what's returned? This isn't about insecurity. It's about emotional safety. They've grown enough to know what they want: depth, spiritual alignment, honesty, joy that isn't manufactured. But still, they worry if those desires might scare you away. In Philippians 4:6-7, the word encourages us, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So your soulmate doesn't let the worry consume them, but it's there, quietly, softly. Not out of fear of you, but because they value you before they've even met you. There's another concern they carry, and this one is tender. They worry about your spiritual hunger, not because they want to control your faith, but because they long for a relationship that grows in the presence of God. They wonder, will you pray with me? Will you fast with me? Will you open the Word with me and search for divine answers together? Or will I be walking with God while trying to pull someone who's distracted by the world? That worry is heavy on them, because their love language is spiritual connection. They can't thrive in a relationship where God is not the center. They've learned that the hard way. So they pray, not just for you to love them, but for you to love God more than you'll ever love them. Because only then will the love be pure. Amos 3:3 says, can two walk together unless they are agreed? That verse isn't just about logic. It's about spirit, about alignment, about walking at the same pace, not competing, not dragging, not rushing ahead, but being equally yoked in the spirit. Your soulmate is hoping for that. And yes, worrying a little too, but angels also say this: they believe in you. Their worry doesn't mean doubt. Their concern doesn't mean fear. In fact, the very reason they care so deeply about these things is because God has already whispered something about you to them. A sense that you are not like the others, that there's something sacred about you, that your love, when it arrives, will not be average. It will be divine, but divine love still has to grow. It still has to be watered. That's why your soulmate sometimes wonders, will they choose me when the world gives them other options? Will they see me as a divine assignment or just another romantic chapter? Because your soulmate knows what it means to be chosen but not cherished. They've been the one who was loved publicly but neglected privately, celebrated at the start, then abandoned when things got real, and now they long for consistency. They desire loyalty that doesn't fade when imperfections appear. They pray that when they open up to you, you won't weaponize their vulnerability. They're asking God, please send me someone who will handle my heart with care, and the Lord sees this. In Psalm 34:18 it says, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Your soulmate is not broken anymore, but they are still tender. And they are trusting that God will not only lead them to you, but that you will be emotionally mature enough to receive the fullness of their heart without judgment. Angels say your soulmate worries about your surroundings too. They don't know exactly who's in your life right now, but they have a deep concern about people around you who may be influencing you in ways that draw you away from your spiritual calling. They sense that there are voices near you that speak fear, confusion, or distraction. And so they pray God shield them from every counterfeit. Let their ears be tuned to heaven, not to gossip. Let them walk with the wise, not the wicked. Proverbs 13:20 tells us, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Your soulmate knows that who you surround yourself with matters. And they hope, fervently, that by the time your paths cross, you'll be surrounded by those who encourage your spirit, not drain it. Even now, they're interceding for you. asking God to remove every connection that's not from Him, every emotional attachment that's not aligned, every past soul tie that's trying to distract you from what's coming. They've seen how emotional clutter can delay divine timing. And so their silent prayer is, God, detox their soul from every residue of what's not meant for them. Clean their heart, their mind, their emotions. Make space in their life for the love we're about to build together. It's not a selfish prayer. It's a sacred one. You might not hear them praying, but heaven does. And the very reason you're watching this right now is because that prayer reached God. And God is now confirming to you, you are loved. You are seen. And yes, someone is already preparing for you. But let me ask you this. Are you preparing for them? The angels are saying it's time. Time to release the past. Time to let go of distractions. Time to heal so that when they arrive, you can receive them fully without fear or hesitation. Because sometimes we don't miss our blessing because it didn't show up. We miss it because we weren't ready when it did. But not this time. This time, you will be ready. This time your heart will be open. This time the healing will already be in motion. This time you won't sabotage the connection by comparing it to past pain. This time, you will recognize the gift and not question if you're worthy of it. Isaiah 60:22 says, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." That time is drawing near, and heaven is aligning everything for your good. But the message today was not just about timing. It was about understanding. You needed to hear what your soulmate has been carrying in silence, so that when you meet, you don't mistake their depth for distance or their prayers for pressure. Now you know. They worry because they care. They're concerned because they're invested. They think of you not with fear, but with reverence. And now, the angels are asking you to respond, not to them, not even to this video, but to God. Your soulmate is not just preparing to love you in the moments that feel light and joyful. They are preparing to love you through the unknown. They are preparing to love you when you're unsure of yourself, when you've had a rough day, when your faith feels small, when you're overwhelmed, and you just need someone to sit quietly beside you. That's the kind of love they are cultivating, not a performance of romance, but a ministry of presence. And yet, even as they prepare to pour out this kind of love, they still silently wonder, will I be enough to hold their heart? Will I be strong enough to be their peace in the storm? They don't fear being inadequate because of pride. They fear it because of how much they already care. Even now, from a distance, they are thinking about how to care for your soul, not just your body, not just your mind, but your soul. They're asking God for wisdom, for patience, for the ability to understand you on a level that goes beyond words. And angels say that is the kind of worry that brings them closer to their purpose, because their love for you is drawing them deeper into their own spiritual walk. They're asking questions like, how do I show up as a leader in this relationship? How do I keep God at the center? How do I protect them without controlling them? How do I make them feel safe even when life gets difficult? And in these quiet prayers, God is shaping them, molding them into the kind of person who doesn't just bring flowers and compliments, but brings covering, intercession, and unconditional love. The kind of love described in 1 Corinthians 13:4-6. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. They are learning this kind of love by loving you from afar first. And yet, even in their preparation, there is this tender whisper in their heart that says, Lord, I hope they're not giving up. I hope they haven't been convinced that love like this doesn't exist, because your soulmate knows what it's like to feel discouraged, to feel like maybe all the good ones are gone. They've battled the same thoughts you have, but instead of letting those thoughts destroy their hope, they use them as fuel to go deeper into prayer, to align their desires with God's will, to ask for discernment, to stop entertaining what doesn't match what God has shown them. And in doing so, they have found peace. But they still worry about you. Are you discouraged right now? Have you started to settle for less? The angels say many of you watching this have been tempted to lower your standards, not because you're weak, but because you're tired. Tired of waiting. Tired of watching others walk into love while you still sit in the silence of longing. But your soulmate is asking God to give you strength, because they know what you're worth. They know that a person like you deserves love that is rooted in prayer, not pretense. Love that builds rather than breaks. They're not just worried about if they'll find you. They're worried about what condition they'll find you in. Will you still believe in love when they arrive? Will you be open-hearted or guarded? Will you be expecting pain or prepared for peace? In Jeremiah 29:11, God reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope." Your soulmate is part of that plan, but that plan unfolds best when both of you walk in alignment, when both of you believe, and when both of you choose preparation over panic. The angels are showing me something very specific. Your soulmate has had visions of building with you. They've imagined a home that's peaceful, a marriage that's fruitful, a life that feels like partnership, not performance. They don't want to impress you with money or image. They want to impress heaven by how they treat you. They want your connection to be the kind that heaven smiles upon. But here's what they worry about in secret. What if the world distracts them before we find each other? What if they get caught up in temporary attention and miss what's real? They know how social media can distort our view of love. They know how culture pushes fast intimacy and shallow connections. And so they pray against it. They pray that you will stay hidden in God's presence, not in public approval, that you will value your quiet season instead of rushing into noise, that you'll protect your heart while the divine timing unfolds. In Isaiah 26:3, the scripture says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." That's the prayer of your soulmate for you right now, that peace will fill your heart while you wait. That peace will calm your mind so that fear doesn't make you chase the wrong thing. The angels say your soulmate's love is not going to be like the others. It won't leave you confused. It won't make you question your worth. It won't be hot one day and cold the next. But that's exactly why they worry, because they've seen how inconsistent people have hurt you in the past. They've felt your wounds in the spirit, and they know they'll have to love you with patience and intentionality. They're ready for that. They're willing to wait until you're ready to receive that love, but they whisper to God, "Please, don't let them lose hope before I get there." Because this love is not just about two people finding each other. It's about two purposes coming into alignment, two destinies intertwining, two hearts learning how to walk as one. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not behind schedule. You are not too broken to be loved. You are not too complicated to be understood. You are not too late to receive the blessing. God is moving things right now, quietly, powerfully, behind the scenes. Your healing is part of the preparation. Your waiting is part of the process. And your surrender is the seed of your next season. Your soulmate is not just praying for you, they're praying for the two of you, together, praying for your future house to be filled with laughter, for your relationship to be a light in your community, for your union to break generational cycles, for your love to inspire others to wait on God. In Matthew 19:6, Jesus said, "So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore what God has joined together, let no one separate." This is not just a partnership. It is a spiritual covenant, and it's worth protecting. Now, as you hear this, maybe you're realizing something. You've been worrying too. Worrying if your person exists, if the wait is worth it, if you're lovable, if you've missed your moment. But God is sending this message to cancel every lie, every fear, every whisper that told you you're not chosen. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God, who are called according to his purpose." You are called. Your soulmate is called. And this is all working together, even when it doesn't feel like it yet. So right now, wherever you are, take a deep breath and say it out loud with me. I believe in God's timing. I believe in God's process. I believe my soulmate is on the way. And I believe I will be ready. And now, beloved, we go even deeper. The angels are revealing something even more intimate, something that rests quietly in the sacred space of your soulmate's heart. This isn't just about their past wounds or silent prayers. This is about what they're willing to sacrifice for the sake of your future together. Because the truth is, love sent by God always comes with surrender. It comes with letting go of comfort zones, familiar patterns, even previous plans, and stepping fully into divine alignment. And here's what they secretly worry about. Will you be willing to let go too? You see, your soulmate has already come to terms with this truth, that real love, the kind that honors God, requires change. It might require a relocation, a shift in lifestyle, a shedding of old mindsets, a cutting of unhealthy ties, and they've already begun making those internal sacrifices. But deep within, they wonder, will you choose divine purpose even when it disrupts your routine? Will you follow love even if it means walking away from the familiar? They worry because they know how deeply people can cling to comfort. They've done it before too, but now they are choosing faith over fear. They're choosing destiny over delay, and they're praying that you will too. In Genesis 12:1, God tells Abram, "Go from your country, your people and your father's household to the land I will show you." This wasn't just a call to move, it was a call to trust, a call to obey. And some of you watching this, you'll soon face a similar moment, a divine pull that will ask you to move, physically, emotionally, spiritually, for the sake of what God is building in your life. Your soulmate senses that moment is coming, and they're preparing to say yes. But they wonder, will you say yes too? This worry doesn't come from doubt, it comes from desire. The desire to walk equally with someone who hears God, who obeys God, and who isn't afraid to say, "Not my will, Lord, but yours be done." Because here's the thing, beloved. Divine love doesn't always look easy at first. Sometimes it's inconvenient. Sometimes it requires distance before connection, quiet before clarity, separation before union. But your soulmate has chosen to trust the process. They've surrendered their timeline to God, but they still whisper, "Lord, please give them the courage to follow you." Even if the path isn't clear yet, they long for a partner who's not just emotionally available but spiritually surrendered. Someone who doesn't just say yes to love, but yes to God first. Because they know, without that foundation, love becomes fragile. That's why they're not praying for a perfect relationship. They're praying for a God-ordained union, one that will thrive through challenges, not fall apart when tested. One that grows in faith, not fades in fear. And angels say their prayers are working. God is stirring your heart even now to be receptive, to prepare, to let go of what no longer serves your calling. Because this love that's coming, it's not ordinary. It's not surface level. It's not something you'll be able to manage with human logic. It's divine, and that's why your soulmate is concerned about your trust in God. They wonder, will you trust Him when nothing around you makes sense? Will you stay in position when others walk away? Will you protect our love from outside voices, distractions, and spiritual warfare? Because they've had a taste of what it feels like to be misunderstood, to be told they're too deep, too serious, too intense. But all they want is someone who understands that love is not a game, it's a ministry. In Ephesians 5:25, the word says, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." That's the kind of love they're asking God to help them give you. A love that sacrifices, a love that protects, a love that covers, but that love must be received, nurtured, respected. And so their secret prayer is, "Lord, prepare their heart to receive this level of love." Let them not reject it because it feels unfamiliar. Because, beloved, let's be honest. Sometimes when we've been hurt enough, even healthy love can feel threatening. Even peace can feel like a setup when we've grown used to chaos. But your soulmate is hoping, begging heaven, that you'll be healed before they arrive, so they won't have to prove they're not like the ones who hurt you. They want to be trusted, not because they've earned it through performance, but because your spirit recognizes theirs. Because your heart is whole enough to discern the difference between familiarity and favor. And yet, they worry. Not because they think you're broken, but because they know how life can harden the heart, how trauma can cause people to push away what they prayed for. And so they ask God to soften your heart, to remove the fear, to remind you what true love feels like again. They are already studying how to love you, not just a version of you. They are asking God to give them insight into your personality, your communication style, your emotional needs. They are praying, "Help me understand them the way you do, God. Help me love them with gentleness and wisdom. Help me see them even when they try to hide their pain behind smiles." This is love that intercedes. Love that doesn't run away from responsibility. Love that is willing to grow with you, not fix you. Love that sees your journey as beautiful, not burdensome. But their secret worry still echoes in the quiet corners of their soul. What if they don't believe I exist? What if they give up and settle for less before I get there? What if the enemy convinces them that they're better off alone? The angels want you to know this is not just romantic fantasy. This is a real person, a real heart, a real calling. And you are the answer to their prayers, just as they are the answer to yours. In Psalm 37:4, the scripture says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart." But notice, it doesn't say he will give you the distractions of your heart. It says the desires, the deep, soul-level longings that align with your purpose. Your soulmate is one of those desires. A desire that God placed inside you not just for companionship, but for divine partnership. So I ask you now, beloved, are you ready? Are you ready to release the trauma that's been holding your heart hostage? Are you ready to stop accepting almost and maybe when God is preparing abundantly above all you can ask or think? Are you ready to be found, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, by the one who's been asking God for you? There's something sacred the angels are showing me right now, something quiet yet powerful. A truth that lives deep inside the soul of the one God has chosen for you. They've rehearsed meeting you, not in fantasy, but in faith. They've stood before God with their heart wide open and said, I may not know their name yet, I may not know their face, but I know their spirit. And I know I was made to love them. That is how seriously your soulmate takes this journey. But even in their preparation, even in their obedience, they still carry this quiet, vulnerable question. God, what if they don't see me when I arrive? What if they look at my outward appearance, my flaws, my past, or my position, and they turn away before they even recognize what's inside me? Because the truth is, the person meant for you might not look like your type. They might not arrive in the package your past taught you to expect. They might not have the voice, the height, the background, or the reputation that others said would be ideal. But inside of them is a depth so rare, so holy, that God himself had to separate them for such a time as this, and they worry, not because they're insecure, but because they've seen how surface this world has become. They know how quickly people swipe, scroll, judge, and move on. They know how common it is to mistake divine humility for weakness. They know how easy it is to overlook depth when the eyes are distracted by decoration, and so they whisper to God, prepare their eyes to see the soul before the status. Prepare their spirit to recognize me, not for what I can offer, but for what I carry. Because what they carry is not of this world. It's heaven-woven, buried in prayer, refined in fire, forged in secret seasons of tears, fasting, and surrender. And they're praying that when the moment comes, you will see them, really see them. Samuel 16:7 reminds us, man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. This scripture is not just about how God sees, it's also an invitation for us to learn to see like him. And your soulmate is hoping that you will have spiritual eyes when they come. They may not show up wealthy. They may not show up famous, but they will show up worthy. And they're praying that you don't miss it. Another quiet concern they carry is about your healing. Yes, your healing. Not because they expect you to be perfect, but because they don't want to be punished for someone else's mistake. They wonder, will I be loved fully or will I be loved cautiously? Will they compare me to the one who hurt them? Will they test me constantly because they're afraid to trust again? Because while they are prepared to love you through your scars, they are praying those scars won't turn into walls. They want access, not to invade you, but to know you, to understand the little things, the way your voice changes when you're tired, the way your heart beats faster when you're excited, the way you hold back tears when you're trying to be strong. They want to learn you, not to study you like a project, but to love you like a partner. But they know healing is key, and they worry, Lord, will I meet them while they're still bleeding from a battle I didn't cause? This isn't a selfish worry. It's a sacred one, because they don't want to just meet you. They want to build with you. And building requires wholeness. Jeremiah 30:17 says, but I will restore you to health and heal your wounds, declares the Lord. This is not just a promise for your body, it's a promise for your soul. And the restoration has already begun. God is healing you in places you didn't even know were broken. You may think the delay is punishment, but it's protection. Because God is ensuring that by the time you and your person meet, your heart is not still tangled in trauma. You won't need to perform. You won't need to pretend. You'll just be, and that will be enough. Your soulmate worries about your emotional safety too. They wonder who's been speaking into your ear, who's been planting seeds of doubt, who's been convincing you that your standards are too high, that your expectations are unrealistic, that you're asking for too much. They've battled those lies in their own life. They know how dangerous it is to lower your vision just to fit into someone else's comfort zone, and they are praying that you will stay rooted in truth, that you will not give in to fear-based advice or worldly pressure. They want to meet the version of you that still believes in divine love, that still makes space for miracles, that still knows what it means to hear from God in the stillness of prayer. In John 10:27, Jesus says, "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me." Your soulmate is trusting that when the time comes, you will hear his voice, not just theirs, and that the voice of the Lord will be the one confirming their presence in your life, because the love you're preparing for is not ordinary, and it won't require manipulation or games. It will be marked by peace, not confusion. Clarity, not chaos. But your soulmate still prays, God, please open their ears to hear you, not just the noise of culture or the opinions of others. They also worry about timing. They've accepted that they can't force it. They've released the need to control it. But sometimes, late at night, they sit in quiet moments and think, what if we miss each other by days? What if a moment of disobedience shifts the path? What if delay causes discouragement, and discouragement causes detour? And yet they trust. They don't stay in that worry. They don't live in that fear. Instead, they kneel. They surrender. They place it in the hands of the one who holds time in his hands. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." Your story is not late. Your love is not behind. Your timing is not broken. But yes, your person is still human. And that's why they sometimes wrestle with these hidden concerns. Not because they doubt God, but because they long for you. And they want this to unfold the right way, not the rushed way. Their heart is gentle, even if the world has told them to be tough. They've had to unlearn that hardness. They've had to relearn softness. Because they know that their love for you must come from a place of openness, not armor. They've cried to God for this. They've asked, Lord, prepare me so I don't self-sabotage this love. Heal me so I don't project my past onto them. Strengthen me so I can carry what you're about to give me. And now, they ask the same for you, that you won't flinch when love looks different than before. That you won't run when it feels unfamiliar. That you won't question it just because it comes quietly and doesn't beg for attention, because the love God is sending your way will arrive humbly, gently, so they may come through a conversation you almost ignored. A moment that felt ordinary, but was actually supernatural. You will not need to force it. You will not need to chase it. It will flow. Your soulmate has already released their yes. They've said yes to the process, yes to the healing, yes to the waiting, yes to you, but they wonder, have you said yes to? Today is your chance. Say it out loud. God, I say yes to your timing. I say yes to your will. I say yes to the person you are preparing for me, and I say yes to becoming the person they are praying for. The angels are ready to reveal the final, deepest layer of your soulmate's secret concerns. This one is different. It isn't born from past pain or fear of delay. It's born from the overwhelming responsibility they feel for your heart, your future, your calling. Your soulmate doesn't just want to love you, they feel chosen to steward you, to guard what God placed in you. And that burden, though beautiful, carries a weight that few around them understand. In moments of solitude, they talk to God about it. Lord, I know they're precious to you. I know they carry purpose. I know they are anointed. But what if I mess this up? What if I hurt them without meaning to? What if I don't always have the right words? What if my own humanity becomes a stumbling block? You see, they've never felt this way before. They've loved before, yes, but they've never felt the gravity of divine assignment quite like this. When they think of you, it doesn't feel like infatuation. It feels like ministry, and that scares them a little, because it means they will have to show up even on the days when it's hard. It means they will have to forgive quickly, listen deeply, and stay consistent when their emotions want to retreat. They are already praying, God, give me the grace to love them like you love them. Teach me to see them through your eyes when they're tired, when they're doubting, when they're struggling. They don't want to simply love the version of you that is shining. They want to stand beside the version that is healing, wrestling, growing, and still speak life. But they still worry. They worry if they'll be able to carry you in prayer the way you deserve. If they'll have the spiritual maturity to guide your home. If they'll have the discernment to know when to speak and when to be silent. If they'll have the emotional depth to respond with wisdom, not pride. Because they know marriage isn't a trophy, it's a covenant. It's a daily act of dying to ego, of choosing humility, of placing your needs before their own. And they're ready, but they're also human. So they ask God every single day, equip me, prepare me, refine me. James 1:5 gives them comfort. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without finding fault. Your soulmate has been asking, and God has been responding, silently shaping them, quietly pruning them, preparing them not just to love, but to lead, to serve, to protect. Still, in the deep places of their soul, they wonder, will I have the strength to fight for this love when life gets hard? Will I be able to lead us both back to God when we feel disconnected? They don't worry about falling in love with you. That part will come naturally. They already know that. They've seen your light in the Spirit. They've felt your tenderness in prayer. They already admire who you're becoming. What they worry about is staying in love through everything, through change, through pressure, through misunderstanding, through seasons of waiting, loss, or disappointment. They've seen relationships that started beautifully but ended bitter. They've seen promises made with passion but broken with pride. They've seen people who once prayed together drift into spiritual silence, and they say to God, please don't let that be our story. Luke 14:28 says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough to complete it? Your soulmate has counted the cost. They know what it will take, and they are not afraid of the cost. They're just hoping you've counted it too. They hope you've prepared for the mundane days, the ordinary weeks, the slow seasons, because real love is not just built on big moments. It's built in the daily rhythms of loyalty, respect, and quiet partnership. They hope you're preparing not just for the wedding, but for the ministry. Because your love is a platform for God's glory. It's not just about two people. It's about two callings coming together to reflect heaven. That's why they've turned down distractions. That's why they've walked away from almost loves and counterfeit connections. Because they know this love is not common. It's not cute. It's consecrated, and they've chosen to protect it long before they see it. But they wonder, are you protecting it too? Have you stopped answering messages that drain your spirit? Have you stopped entertaining people who only want access to your body and not your soul? Have you stopped using your singleness as an excuse to settle? Have you started talking to God about how you will serve them, not just how they'll serve you? Because they are asking heaven for someone who has also been in the secret place, someone who doesn't just desire divine love, but who is ready to honor it when it arrives, and they are willing. Willing to change schedules, willing to learn new ways of communicating, willing to unlearn survival tactics that don't serve a spiritual relationship, willing to pray before reacting, willing to love even when it doesn't feel convenient. Their worry is not that the love will be difficult. Their worry is that you might not know how to receive something so gentle, because you've known love that tested you, stretched you, left you confused. You've known love that only showed up when you had something to offer. You've known love that made you chase approval, compromise boundaries, and silence your needs. And now, your soulmate wonders, will they accept the kind of love that asks for nothing except honesty? Will they relax into my presence, or will they expect pain even when I only offer peace? Well, John 4:18 says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. And that is their deepest prayer, that the love between you will drive out fear. Not just romantic fear, but the fear that has been planted by years of disappointment and heartbreak. They're not trying to save you. They're not trying to be your rescuer. They know only God can do that, but they do want to be your witness, your intercessor, your teammate, your safe space. But their final, most tender worry is this: will you let them love you fully, or will you hold back? Because they know what they're bringing to the table. Not perfection, but purity of heart. Not control, but covering. Not manipulation, but ministry. They're not here to fix you. They're here to walk with you while God continues to unfold your purpose. They're ready to celebrate your wins and sit with you through your losses. They're ready to walk into a room and make you feel like the only person that matters. They're ready to build a home that feels like refuge. They're ready to pour into you, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and never keep score. But they ask one thing: will you let them love you truly? Even on the days when you don't feel lovable? Even when you're overthinking, self-protecting, or doubting yourself? Will you let someone see everything and stay? Because they've already made that decision, and now they're praying you will too. That you won't run, that you won't hide, that you won't test their love until it breaks, that you'll believe it, receive it, and grow in it, because this is not just your person. This is your promise. And every prayer they've prayed has carried your name, even if they didn't know it yet. So now, beloved, it's your turn. Are you ready to receive what you've been asking for? Are you ready to become the partner you've been praying to meet? Are you ready to let someone love you, not in fragments, not in portions, but fully? If you are, I want you to comment below: I'm ready for divine love. This is your moment of agreement. This is where heaven takes your yes and accelerates alignment. This is where angels begin preparing divine circumstances, divine timing and divine protection around your path. Don't let fear talk you out of this. Don't let doubt delay you. Don't let the enemy tell you that love like this doesn't exist, because it does. It's already praying for you, already believing in you, already preparing a place for you in their life, and it's coming. Now that you know their secret worries, take comfort in this truth. You are already loved. Not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. Not because you're perfect, but because you're promised. The angels are ready to reveal the final, deepest layer of your soulmate's secret concerns. This one is different. It isn't born from past pain or fear of delay. It's born from the overwhelming responsibility they feel for your heart, your future, your calling. Your soulmate doesn't just want to love you, they feel chosen to steward you, to guard what God placed in you. And that burden, though beautiful, carries a weight that few around them understand. In moments of solitude, they talk to God about it. Lord, I know they're precious to you. I know they carry purpose. I know they are anointed. But what if I mess this up? What if I hurt them without meaning to? What if I don't always have the right words? What if my own humanity becomes a stumbling block? You see, they've never felt this way before. They've loved before, yes, but they've never felt the gravity of divine assignment quite like this. When they think of you, it doesn't feel like infatuation. It feels like ministry, and that scares them a little, because it means they will have to show up even on the days when it's hard. It means they will have to forgive quickly, listen deeply, and stay consistent when their emotions want to retreat. They are already praying, God, give me the grace to love them like you love them. Teach me to see them through your eyes when they're tired, when they're doubting, when they're struggling. They don't want to simply love the version of you that is shining. They want to stand beside the version that is healing, wrestling, growing, and still speak life. But they still worry. They worry if they'll be able to carry you in prayer the way you deserve. If they'll have the spiritual maturity to guide your home. If they'll have the discernment to know when to speak and when to be silent. If they'll have the emotional depth to respond with wisdom, not pride. Because they know marriage isn't a trophy, it's a covenant. It's a daily act of dying to ego, of choosing humility, of placing your needs before their own. And they're ready, but they're also human. So they ask God every single day, equip me, prepare me, refine me. James 1:5 gives them comfort. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without finding fault. Your soulmate has been asking. And God has been responding, silently shaping them, quietly pruning them, preparing them not just to love, but to lead, to serve, to protect. Still, in the deep places of their soul, they wonder, will I have the strength to fight for this love when life gets hard? Will I be able to lead us both back to God when we feel disconnected? They don't worry about falling in love with you. That part will come naturally. They already know that. They've seen your light in the Spirit. They've felt your tenderness in prayer. They already admire who you're becoming. What they worry about is staying in love through everything, through change, through pressure, through misunderstanding, through seasons of waiting, loss, or disappointment. They've seen relationships that started beautifully but ended bitter. They've seen promises made with passion but broken with pride. They've seen people who once prayed together drift into spiritual silence, and they say to God, please don't let that be our story. Luke 14:28 says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough to complete it? Your soulmate has counted the cost. They know what it will take, and they are not afraid of the cost. They're just hoping you've counted it too. They hope you've prepared for the mundane days, the ordinary weeks, the slow seasons, because real love is not just built on big moments. It's built in the daily rhythms of loyalty, respect, and quiet partnership. They hope you're preparing not just for the wedding, but for the ministry. Because your love is a platform for God's glory. It's not just about two people. It's about two callings coming together to reflect heaven. That's why they've turned down distractions. That's why they've walked away from almost loves and counterfeit connections. Because they know this love is not common. It's not cute. It's consecrated, and they've chosen to protect it long before they see it. But they wonder, are you protecting it too? Have you stopped answering messages that drain your spirit? Have you stopped entertaining people who only want access to your body and not your soul? Have you stopped using your singleness as an excuse to settle? Have you started talking to God about how you will serve them, not just how they'll serve you? Because they are asking heaven for someone who has also been in the secret place, someone who doesn't just desire divine love, but who is ready to honor it when it arrives, and they are willing. Willing to change schedules, willing to learn new ways of communicating, willing to unlearn survival tactics that don't serve a spiritual relationship, willing to pray before reacting, willing to love even when it doesn't feel convenient. Their worry is not that the love will be difficult. Their worry is that you might not know how to receive something so gentle, because you've known love that tested you, stretched you, left you confused. You've known love that only showed up when you had something to offer. You've known love that made you chase approval, compromise boundaries, and silence your needs. And now, your soulmate wonders, will they accept the kind of love that asks for nothing except honesty? Will they relax into my presence, or will they expect pain even when I only offer peace? Well, John 4:18 says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. And that is their deepest prayer, that the love between you will drive out fear. Not just romantic fear, but the fear that has been planted by years of disappointment and heartbreak. They're not trying to save you. They're not trying to be your rescuer. They know only God can do that, but they do want to be your witness, your intercessor, your teammate, your safe space. But their final, most tender worry is this: will you let them love you fully, or will you hold back? Because they know what they're bringing to the table. Not perfection, but purity of heart. Not control, but covering. Not manipulation, but ministry. They're not here to fix you. They're here to walk with you while God continues to unfold your purpose. They're ready to celebrate your wins and sit with you through your losses. They're ready to walk into a room and make you feel like the only person that matters. They're ready to build a home that feels like refuge. They're ready to pour into you, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and never keep score. But they ask one thing: will you let them love you truly? Even on the days when you don't feel lovable? Even when you're overthinking, self-protecting, or doubting yourself? Will you let someone see everything and stay? Because they've already made that decision, and now they're praying you will too. That you won't run, that you won't hide, that you won't test their love until it breaks, that you'll believe it, receive it, and grow in it, because this is not just your person. This is your promise. And every prayer they've prayed has carried your name, even if they didn't know it yet. So now, beloved, it's your turn. Are you ready to receive what you've been asking for? Are you ready to become the partner you've been praying to meet? Are you ready to let someone love you, not in fragments, not in portions, but fully? If you are, I want you to comment below. I'm ready for divine love. This is your moment of agreement. This is where heaven takes your yes and accelerates alignment. This is where angels begin preparing divine circumstances, divine timing and divine protection around your path. Don't let fear talk you out of this. Don't let doubt delay you. Don't let the enemy tell you that love like this doesn't exist, because it does. It's already praying for you, already believing in you, already preparing a place for you in their life, and it's coming. Now that you know their secret worries, take comfort in this truth. You are already loved. Not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. Not because you're perfect, but because you're promised. There's something else the angels are pressing on my heart for you right now. It's a message wrapped in the softest whisper, a truth that comes from heaven's deepest compassion for your soul. Your soulmate, yes, the one you've heard so much about, has not only been waiting for you, not only preparing for you, but they've been protecting the idea of you, that sacred thought of you, the dream of you. They don't just carry the hope of being loved. They carry a deep reverence for the assignment of loving you. You see, in the natural realm, many people prepare for love with a checklist: appearance, age, ambition, style, status. But your soulmate has laid all of that down. They've gone into the presence of God and asked, "Not my will, Lord, not my preference, not even my timeline. Just send me the one you've chosen. Send me the one you've kept hidden, and make me ready for them." That prayer has cost them. Letting go of attachments. Saying no to relationships that looked promising but didn't carry peace. Walking away from people who said all the right things but couldn't hold the weight of covenant. And so now their quiet worry is this: have they been able to protect the idea of me too? Have they held on to hope in the waiting? Or have they settled for a counterfeit to ease the loneliness? This worry doesn't come from jealousy. It comes from spiritual sensitivity. Because they know how the enemy operates. The enemy sends decoys. The enemy sends distractions wrapped in temporary affection. The enemy introduces almost right connections that seem harmless at first, but over time wear down your spirit, your faith, your boundaries. They worry. Have they mistaken attention for love? Have they become comfortable in a connection that doesn't carry their destiny? They don't say this out of pride. They say it out of protection. Because your soulmate's love for you is not just emotional, it is prophetic. It sees beyond now. It's been cultivated in prayer, not passion alone. They want you to be free, not just single, but free. Free from emotional residue, free from soul ties, free from spiritual fatigue, free from distrust, because they want to build with you from rest, not from rubble. They're not hoping to rescue you. They're hoping to partner with you in a season where your peace is already being restored, where your identity is already being affirmed, where your spirit is already being lifted by God Himself. They've been through their own wilderness. Their own test. They've failed some, passed others, but every time they fell, they got back up. Because they saw you in the future. They saw the home they'd build with you, the ministry they'd create with you, the testimonies that would come from your shared journey. And that vision became a reason to rise again, to heal again, to keep praying. So when they look at their past, they don't see shame anymore. They see preparation, they see purpose, they see God's hand. But now they wonder, do you see it too? They're hoping you haven't allowed your past to turn you into someone cold, that you haven't mistaken isolation for protection, that you haven't given up on the sacredness of love just because the world has diluted it. They know what it's like to feel numb, to feel skeptical, to smile politely at the idea of love while secretly wondering, will it ever really happen for me? They've sat with those doubts too, but they chose faith anyway, and now they're praying that you will too. They're praying that your hope will not be deferred to the point of despair. They're praying that your heart remains open, even if it's cautious. They're praying that your eyes remain focused on God, not the calendar. They're praying that when they come, they won't have to convince you that they're real. that you'll know by the peace they carry. Philippians 1:6 says, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. That includes your love story. That includes your restoration. That includes your covenant. Your soulmate is not coming to complete you. God is already doing that. They are coming to complement what God has already established, but they still wonder. Will you see the difference between someone who distracts you and someone who is designed for you? They pray that you'll discern it, that you'll sense the anointing even if they don't come wrapped in luxury, that you'll hear the confirmation even if their entrance into your life is quiet and humble. Because divine connections don't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes they arrive with peace, with ease, with stillness, and your soulmate knows this. That's why they worry just a little, that you might overlook the quiet gift because you're still waiting for something loud. But they trust God. They trust that your spirit will recognize theirs. They trust that what's been prepared in secret will be confirmed in public. They trust that the same God who whispered your name into their heart will whisper their name into yours. They've been preparing for you in real ways, not just spiritual, but practical too. They've been learning emotional intelligence, reading books about communication, studying how to be a present partner, how to apologize quickly, how to regulate their own emotions, how to support someone without needing to fix everything, because they don't just want to be a spouse. They want to be a safe place, a resting place, a mirror that reflects the love of God when you forget what it looks like. But sometimes they lie awake and ask, what if they're growing tired? What if they're being pulled into someone else's arms simply because I haven't arrived yet? And in those moments, God comforts them. God reminds them that what is ordained cannot be outrun, that no delay, no detour, no distance can cancel what heaven has authored. Isaiah 55:11 says, so is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. Your love story is not wandering. It is moving toward fulfillment. It's already in motion. Your soulmate knows this now, and their worry is melting into faith, but they still pray every day. Lord, keep them from discouragement. Let them laugh again. Let them hope again. Let them believe again, even if I'm not beside them yet. Let your love be so real that they don't feel alone. That's what they ask for you. Not just to wait, but to wait well, to wait with joy, to wait with purpose, to wait while building, growing, exploring, to wait in such a way that when they find you, you are full of life, not just longing, because they are not coming to rescue you, they're coming to join you. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are becoming, and so are they. Now is the time for final preparation, for final release, for final healing. The angels say it is closer than you think, closer than you feel, closer than even your faith may be able to grasp right now, but it's real. This is your confirmation, so take one last moment right now and let it all go. Let go of the ones who couldn't see you. Let go of the ones who never deserved your heart. Let go of the comparisons. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the fear that love has forgotten you. It hasn't. It's been waiting in the secret place, in the quiet prayers, in the gentle whispers, and it's coming soon. Your soulmate is not worried anymore because they now feel peace. They feel alignment. They feel God moving, and you will too. There's a stillness in the spirit right now, a gentle, holy stillness, and it's not empty. It's full of motion that you can't yet see. The angels are moving on your behalf, not in chaos, not in noise, but in divine order. And in this stillness, heaven is speaking a final word over your journey, your heart, and your union. The kind of word that doesn't just land in your ears, it settles in your soul. Your soulmate has entered into this stillness too. The stage of waiting where peace starts to take root more deeply than worry ever did, where questions are still present, but they no longer shake their faith. And the reason is simple. They feel you getting closer. You may not feel it yet. You may still be wrapped in unanswered questions, unfinished healing, unseen breakthroughs. But your soulmate can sense you. It's a soul signal, a spiritual pulse, an inner knowing that their waiting isn't in vain. They have stopped watching the calendar. They've stopped measuring their life against the timelines of others, because something inside them finally clicked. What God is preparing is worth waiting for, no matter how long it takes. Their prayers have shifted too. It's no longer just, Lord, when, or where are they? Now it's become, Lord, help me become the kind of person who will be a blessing to them when they arrive. Help me become the answer to their prayers. And as they pray that, heaven is preparing both of you in ways you can't yet comprehend. This process has not been about punishing you with delay. It has been about positioning you for destiny. Your soulmate has let go of timelines. And now, God is inviting you to do the same, to stop looking at your age like a deadline, to stop comparing your season with someone else's celebration, to stop allowing your waiting to feel like rejection. Because in heaven, waiting is not punishment, it's preservation. And your love story has been preserved, not just for the sake of timing, but for the sake of impact. You and your soulmate are not coming together just for romance. You're coming together for revolution, for ministry, for alignment, for healing that will ripple through your lineage. That's why the battle has been so intense. That's why the loneliness has cut so deep. That's why the counterfeits were so convincing, because the enemy has seen the oil on your union and he's been trying to sabotage it since the beginning, but he failed. You're still standing, still believing, still seeking God, and so is your person. The angels say that both of you have been tested. Both of you have been stretched. Both of you have had moments where you almost gave up. But now something is different. Something is stirring. There is a weight of glory resting on this love story. A divine assignment that you may not fully understand now, but it will make sense once you meet. Once the pieces fall into place, once the promises begin to manifest in real time, you will look into their eyes and you will know. Not because it feels like fantasy, but because it feels like home. This is what your soulmate has longed for. Not just a pretty face, not just butterflies, but home, peace in a person, sanctuary in a soul, safety in a touch, stability in a voice, and they've waited. They've waited through seasons where nothing made sense, through seasons where others settled down while they remained in solitude, through moments when even God seemed silent. But deep down, they held on. Because they knew you were worth it. They didn't just want any love. They wanted a love that was covered, a love that was blessed, a love that grew things, not drained things, a love that echoed eternity. So they stayed hidden. They stayed obedient. They stayed in the secret place, and now, so much of their worry has turned into worship. They no longer ask, will they choose me? Instead, they say, Lord, thank you that you've already chosen them for me, and that what you choose cannot be taken away. That is their confidence now, not in themselves, but in God's faithfulness. Because what God has spoken cannot be undone. What God has ordained cannot be overthrown. And what God has joined together, no man, no distraction, no delay, no lie can separate. Your soulmate knows that now, but still, one more concern lingers in the quiet. It's this. When they finally see me, will they see my spirit first? Because your soulmate has grown beyond surface attraction. They've grown beyond wanting to be impressive. They don't need you to be obsessed with them. They just want to be seen, truly seen. Understood in the places where words don't reach. Heard in the silences they're still learning how to articulate. They're hoping that when you meet, you won't just notice their energy, but their essence, the part of them that God carefully molded, the part that few have taken time to discover because they've been misunderstood before, labeled, misread, judged. They've been too much for some and not enough for others, but they were never meant for them. They were preserved for you. And now they pray, Lord, let them see me with eyes of grace. Let them love me the way you love me, not for my performance, but for my purpose. They want to be loved in the middle of becoming. Not just celebrated when they're perfect, but honored even in the process. And they are praying the same for you, because they know that when you meet, you'll both still be healing. You'll both still be growing. You'll both still be figuring things out, but that's okay, because love, real love, doesn't require perfection. It just requires presence, a willingness to stay, to communicate, to believe the best, to forgive quickly, to celebrate often, to pray together, not just play together. This is the kind of love you're walking into, a love that reflects Ephesians 4:2-3. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. That's what your soulmate is prepared to do. Not just talk about love, but do love. Daily, sacrificially, joyfully. And when you meet, it won't be fireworks, it'll be peace. When they touch your hand, it'll feel familiar. When they speak, you'll feel clarity. When you sit in silence, it won't be awkward. It'll feel holy, because this is more than a match. It's a mirror, a reflection of what God was forming in secret all along, and you'll realize. The waiting was never wasted. Every lonely night shaped your empathy. Every delayed prayer sharpened your discernment. Every heartbreak humbled your heart. And every moment you chose faith over fear brought you closer to them. So today, you can rest. The angels say it again. It's closer than you think. Every step you take now is drawing you nearer. Every tear you've cried has been caught. Every moment of obedience has been recorded. Every act of faith has been counted. And heaven is aligning it all. This love is not behind schedule. It's right on time. So one more time, beloved, declare this with full faith. I am in alignment. I am prepared. I am in position for God's love. Let the heavens hear it. Let your angels move on it. Let your spirit rise in expectation, because your person is closer, your heart is softer, your future is brighter, and your love story is just about to begin. Even now, beloved, as you listen to these words, something within you is shifting, a softening, a remembering, a realignment of your spirit with heaven's truth about you and about the one you're destined to walk with. You were never forgotten. You were never left out. Your story was never lost. It was simply being written in a language only the Spirit could understand. And that story is reaching a new chapter. As you prepare to step into this sacred season, I want you to hold something close. Your person, your soulmate, is not coming to complete you. They are coming to join you, to walk with you, to build with you, to laugh with you, to cry with you, to pray with you, to fight with you, not against you, but for you. The angels say there is something divine in what's about to unfold. And it's not just the meeting, it's what follows after. It's the subtle, holy work of becoming one. Because even a divine connection requires intentional effort. You will need to water this garden daily, not with fear, not with pressure, but with faith, patience, and truth. Your soulmate already knows this. That's why they've been preparing. And that's why they've been praying. Their final hope, their final unspoken concern is this: will we honor the covenant once it begins? Because many people long for the start, but few are prepared to honor the process. Your person has seen this. They've watched others begin with fire and end with ashes. They've seen passion fizzle into passivity. They've seen hearts that once worshipped together drift into apathy. They've seen what happens when people stop choosing each other daily, deliberately, deeply, and so they ask God now, let our love not just be divine in beginning, but divine in endurance. They want this to last, not just for months, not just for milestones, but for purpose, for legacy, for kingdom. Because this is not just about two people falling in love. It's about heaven's light shining through a partnership that refuses to quit. They want you to know they're not coming to just have fun, though you'll surely laugh together. They're not coming to just build wealth, though God will provide. They're not coming to fix your wounds, though healing will come. They are coming to serve God beside you, to honor you, to learn you, to discover who you are in every season and still choose you. Again and again, but even as they prepare their heart, they wonder, will you choose me when I'm not perfect? Will you choose me when the days are hard? Will you still stand beside me when we don't have all the answers? And the answer, beloved, must begin now, with you choosing them in advance, even before they arrive, by preparing your heart to be ready, by committing to protect what you prayed for, by resisting the urge to run when things get real, because divine love is not fantasy. It's faithfulness. It's not just candles and romance. It's choosing each other at the end of long days. It's Forgiveness when miscommunication happens. It's choosing prayer over pride. It's choosing to speak life when your emotions want to shut down. It's choosing the covenant, not just the connection. And this is what your soulmate has been preparing for. They're not praying for someone who's perfect. They're praying for someone who's willing to grow, willing to communicate, willing to forgive, willing to press through. They know love will take work. They're not afraid of that. They just don't want to do that work alone. That's why they've made the decision already. I will not walk away easily. I will stay when things get tough. I will remember why we started. I will fight with faith. They are saying this even now before you arrive. So the final part of their prayer is not about the waiting anymore. It's about the walking. The angels say this is where the two of you are headed, a journey of walking together. Shoulder to shoulder, spirit to spirit. You'll start with deep conversations, vulnerability, shared prayers, maybe even a few awkward silences. But it will all feel sacred because the foundation is being built right. And once that foundation is strong, God will begin to build faster than you imagined. Doors will open, resources will come, people will be drawn to your peace. Your life will start reflecting partnership with purpose. And suddenly, you'll look back and realize every delay was preparing you for this. Every lonely night taught you to listen. Every prayer of surrender sharpened your discernment. Every closed door preserved your faith. Every false connection led you closer to truth. Every season you spent becoming has led you straight into love that lasts. And your soulmate will know it too. They'll look at you and say, "You're not just an answered prayer. You're evidence that God is good. You're proof that waiting on the Lord is never in vain," and you'll say the same about them. Together, you will worship. Together, you will overcome. Together, you will carry joy through dry places. Together, you will build not just a home, but a future, a legacy, a testimony that generations after you will talk about and say, "That kind of love is what I want. That kind of marriage is what I'm praying for," because you won't just be in love, you'll be in purpose. So hold this word close. Let it settle into your bones. Let it erase the lies that told you love like this was just a dream. Let it heal every wound that whispered, "You're too much," or "You're too late." Let it prepare you not just to receive love, but to protect it. Because love like this is rare, it's holy, and it's yours. Now is the time to seal this word with your spirit. Speak it aloud if you can. Declare it with your heart. I am ready to honor the love God is bringing into my life. I am healed, whole, and in position. I am not afraid to receive divine love. Let this be your agreement with heaven. Let this be the signal that you're not just hoping, you're prepared. And if this message touched you in any way, I ask you now, share it. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends. Share it with someone who's been holding on to a sliver of hope, someone who's been waiting in silence, someone who needs to know they are not forgotten. You may be the confirmation they've been praying for. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Prophetic Message and turn on your notification bell so you never miss a divine word sent straight to your spirit. You belong here. This community is your family, and these messages are your spiritual reminders that God is still writing beautiful love stories. Every view, every like, every comment, every share, it all helps us spread this message of hope and alignment. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing. Thank you for choosing faith one more time. Your soulmate is coming. And when they do, you'll be ready, because heaven has already declared it. You are loved. You are chosen, you are prepared, and now you are aligned. We'll see you in the next video. God bless you, and never forget, you're closer than you think.